Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody's having a great week and is going to be having a great weekend. This is a double upload day. Been feeling that momentum shift to where back to uploading consistently, hopefully here this month. We had the NBA draft lottery this past Tuesday. Unfortunately, I had a work Tuesday going to Wednesday. I talked about this in the video that I just uploaded of the Pokemon Crystal League, and that I was going to eventually talk to you guys about the draft lottery and the circumstance for the Indiana Pacers. We were the 5th pick, and we had a 10% chance for each of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 to go up. We only had a 2% chance to keep our pick at 5, a 26.9% chance to fall to 6th, 19% chance to fall to the for the life of me, I cannot think of it. The 7th pick, the 8th pick, 8%, and then a 2% chance to fall to the 9th pick. So we had a significantly higher chance to fall, even though we were the 5th pick. But we still have a good young prospect or good young player to possibly go along with Chris Duarte, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner as our center for the future. There are talks of him getting a contract extension. But I thought I'd get into some analyzing and talking about the NBA draft. NBA draftroom.com. I like this one of all the ones because you have the right here, as you can tell, the comparisons. You have the height, the weight, and the wingspan. I did this, goodness gracious, back a couple months ago, if not quite a bit ago, that this has a really good analysis of the players. And I thought I'd just go 1 through 30, talk about the teams. Do I like the move for the team? And let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting with Jabari Smith. The Magic Land. Hold on a second. Let me check something real quick if I can do this. No, I cannot. The Orlando Magic land the number 1 pick and will have a hard choice between Jabari and Chet. Jabari has a chance to become an elite scoring forward and would pair well with the young Magic core. And I like that. I like that a lot. The opportunity to then have a big to go along with Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, an injury-prone Jonathan Isaac, just in case if something were to go wrong with him, injury again, you can slide him to the 3, Jabari Smith. You got some great guards in Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, who they'll probably end up trading away or letting him. I think he's a free agent. And then Terrence Ross. You have a lot of opportunities for so many different types of lineups. Hell, actually, even Franz Wagner, they could go really big and have like Franz Wagner at the 2, Jabari Smith at the 3, Wendell Carter Jr. at the 5/4, Mo Bamba, same vice versa, until you see Jonathan Isaac get healthy. It's not a bad move. By golly, the next person being Chet Holmgren, you do question if they do go to Chet Holmgren, are they going to let Wendell Carter Jr. be a free agent? Are you going to trade him away? Same with Mo Bamba. As to what I think that'd be the better of the moves is to go with Jabari Smith. And even then, are they going to be willing to trade away Jonathan Isaac with a Jabari Smith because of Jonathan Isaac being so injured? There's a lot of questions when it comes to Orlando having that first pick. Hell, you even could possibly even trade away that pick if there's somebody that is really wanting to get like a Jabari Smith or Chet Holmgren. You could trade up and get that kind of player because the Orlando Magic have such great young rosters. So, but I do like this for the Orlando or not Atlanta, but the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chet Holmgren going to Oklahoma City. Chet is an ideal fit for the Thunder with tons of upside, length, and he fills a need in the front court, and that's huge because Pokusevski did not have the best year at 7 foot small forward. This actually gives them the opportunity to have Baisley or God, what was his name? Oh man, what was his name? Isaiah Roby. They can have Isaiah Roby go to the 4, or have him actually set. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Have him keep it at the 5. You can slide Chet Holmgren to the 4, then have a bigger lineup with Baisley at the 3, Dortz at the 2, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the 1. That's not a bad call. You have the compositions for these two players is Triple J and Rashard Lewis. I like that a lot. That's going to be helpful for the Magic with the Triple J. Get some defensive presence while, again, without Jonathan Isaac. Dirk Nowitzki on the offensive side and Marcus Camby on defense. That's really good. I like Marcus Camby back in the days. And then Dirk Nowitzki with that 3-point shot that he had. That's not a bad move for the young core of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Next up, we have Paulo Banchero. I really love Paulo Banchero. Blake Griffin / Chris Webber. Okay, the Rockets might be disappointed, but can still land a big-time player at a position of need. Paulo and Sengun would be an interesting front court with a lot of talent. Yeah, you had that opportunity to have Paulo shoot threes. Yes, he didn't shoot a lot of threes, but he's actually not a bad. He shot 37% from 3, I believe, or something like that. He didn't shoot often with that, but he has a good offensive game. Sengun is an interesting front court with Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Deshaun Tate, Kenan Martin Jr. Eventually, they're going to trade away John Wall with his contract, try to get some more draft capital to continue this rebuild. Probably even trade away Eric Gordon. It's not a bad move. I like it a lot. Also, they have that Gary Matthews. Is that right? And I want to say it's Gary Matthews is his name. He's supposed to be really, really good. But I do like that a lot. It's a need. Also, Christian Wood, which they might trade away, also just go completely young. Yes, Christian Wood is only 25-ish. But to go even younger and rebuild with that completely young roster, I think would be their ideal move. Ooh, a Brandon Roy comparison and Shaedon Sharpe. The Kings rise up to number 4 and have a chance to land one of the elite talents in his class. Sharpe is a mystery man, but has massive upside. This would be a trade down spot if a team wants to come up for Jaden Ivey or Sharpe. I am from Indiana, and after that performance in the March Madness, he is from Purdue. For Jaden Ivey, I, for one, would not be wanting to get Jaden Ivey. He had 8 turnovers, had a pretty rough March Madness, is what scares me. By golly, again, he has great upside, but I wouldn't want to trade up to get Jaden Ivey. And they have the opportunity to trade away because they already have David Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox. They'll probably try to re-sign Harrison Barnes for a cheaper contract. Then you have Sabonis at the 5/4. So they have the opportunity to trade that away because he's only at 6'5", but he might be a bad option to slide him to the 3. David Mitchell the 2, De'Aaron Fox at the 1. Let Harrison Barnes walk. Not a bad option. I wouldn't mind that. It depends on how their thought process would be during the offseason. Could they give themselves a stretch 4 to then get Sabonis the right amount of elite scoring? But to have that comparison of Brandon Roy, you had that opportunity to be able to get that kind of a player. I like that a lot. But him being a shooting guard at 6'5", You could have him at 3, but I wouldn't blame them if they were to trade away that pick. Jaden Ivey for the Detroit Pistons, Dwayne Wade, and Ja Morant comparisons. The Detroit Pistons don't land in the top 3, but still have a chance to draft a star. Ivey is an elite athlete will pair well with Cade Cunningham. Again, I am hesitant after that March Madness kind of had a rough matchup in that March Madness, got torn up, but he is a great young player at 6'4" shooting guard. The question then also, just like a lot of these teams that are in the here, is that there's question marks as to why they would trade or get this player when they already have such great young talent already, like a Killian Hayes. Are they wanting to move on from Killian Hayes? I know the Detroit Pistons fans aren't the happiest with Killian Hayes. Crispy Flakes, who is a YouTuber, he was not the biggest fan of Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham backcourt, but I like the prospect of Cade Cunningham, or I like the ideal fit that they could possibly have Cade Cunningham play off ball. Killian Hayes played the 1 because he was a great playmaker for the team, but that backcourt might have to be changed up. Jaden Ivey's a pretty good ball handler, pretty good scorer. Again, a Dwayne Wade kind of comparison. You might have to just move on from Killian Hayes or have him come off the bench. Would not be a bad move for the Detroit Pistons. There's a lot of question marks when it comes to the Pistons and such young, great talent. Will they be wanting to move, or will they be willing to move on from Jeremy Grant, Kelly Olynyk? They'll probably move on with. So it's going to take a minute for a lot of these teams to be a playoff team / title contender. So just go with the best prospect at the time, I guess, would be the move. Next up is my Indiana Pacers, Obi Toppin and Pascal Siakam comparisons with Keegan Murray. The Pacers seem like an ideal fit for Murray. He's a bit older than the others, but still has a lot of upside to develop into and has a skill set that looks very NBA ready. That's how the Indiana Pacers was last year with Chris Duarte. We picked a 24-year-old kid. And Chris Duarte, he's only 21 years old. He'll be 22 during the draft. He'll be 22 years old. He's going to be he's as young as Tyrese Halliburton. You got Tyrese Halliburton, then Chris Duarte, then Keegan Murray at 6'8". I would actually slide him to the 3, then possibly try to trade, get another draft lottery pick, or in the offseason try to get yourself a stretch 4 to go along with Miles Turner, because him at 6'8", LeBron James is a 6'8". He's been a small forward most of his career. There's been moments where he was at the 4 with Anthony Davis. This past year, he did that with Anthony Davis and Westbrook, but most small forwards are 6'6" to 6'8", most often 6'9" to 6'11" is the power forward position, and 7 foot or above usually is like a power or is the center. So I like him at the small forward than the power forward. But in today's game, being positionless, it doesn't really matter if he's 6'8" or 6'6". I want to say Draymond Green's 6'9". He's plays power forward. So with it being such a mismatched league, he could play at the 4. We could re-sign T.J. Warren, have him play at the 3, depending on how much money he's wanting. He's been out for the past 2 years, ever since the bubble. So I'm questioning how much money he's wanting to take or receive every year versus how much we're willing to give him. But I don't mind getting Keegan Murray. There is another player outside of these top 4 that I would like for the Pacers to get, and that's that Benedict Mathurin. He's supposed to be really, really good as far as outside of these four. I would like to actually maybe possibly get Benedict Mathurin, because he's a 6'7". They're saying comparisons of like a Jason Richardson, but I don't mind a Keegan Murray. I like the comparison with the Pascal Siakam. That's pretty decent. Next up is the Portland Trailblazers with Jalen Duren with a Dwight Howard build at 6'11", and 6'11" with a 250-pound weight. The Blazers are rebuilding and could go with a young, best long-term upside prospect on the board in Duren. There are talks of him, possibly DeAndre Ayton. He is restricted free agent that he might end up on the Portland Trailblazers. The Suns are a cheap team. They don't want to go even close to the luxury tax. There you have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, under books, and then you have Mikal Bridges, who's needing a new contract, and DeAndre Ayton, who's needing a new contract. They got money spent on Cameron Payne, so they might end up getting a DeAndre Ayton. For the Blazers' sake, they already have Yusuf Nurkic, CJ McCollum, and Anthony Simons. I would possibly look at getting, again, a Benedict Mathurin, then go and try to sign DeAndre Ayton in the offseason. Would be awesome for the Portland Trailblazers. But this is not a bad move either. You can save some money and not have to sign DeAndre Ayton and go get yourself a wing player, or probably a wing player or a stretch four. We signed Yusuf Nurkic because you need you already had the backcourt of Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons. It was not a bad move. They have the opportunity to get back into back into the playoffs, not play-in tournament, but the playoffs with the right moves. And a Jalen Duren wouldn't be bad, but I'd prefer probably a Benedict Mathurin, just because he has that Jason Richardson comparison. And then you can have Yusuf Nurkic at the 4, sign somebody in the offseason at the 5, and then you have your backcourt in McCollum and Lillard. Next up is Dyson Daniels for the Pelicans via the Lakers. No comparison because he's from Australia / the G League Ignite. Pelicans are building something special and could look to add the Toolsy point guard, shooting guard Daniels to the mix. He has a lot of upside and has reportedly grown to 6'8". Okay, that's not a bad move. I know they have that Valverado. I can't remember how you pronounce it correctly, but he's a pretty good guard. You have CJ McCollum, and Devontae Graham also for the backcourt. I'd be looking at possibly trading to get... I guess it's not a bad move. Because I'm thinking of their starting lineup with CJ McCollum, Devontae Graham, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and Valanciunas. It's not a bad lineup, again, with Zion Williamson, if he ever gets healthy or if he wants to stay on the team. It's the biggest question marks. They have a lot of intriguing... It's probably one of the most interesting and question mark team is the Pelicans. Do they trade away Zion Williamson? You have Herb Jones, who's a defensive anchor. Vallardo is a defensive anchor. CJ McCollum's a bucket. Brandon Ingram's a bucket. Valanciunas, who's one of the most underrated centers, he could possibly be one of their key players that he's able to stretch it for. He's shooting really, he's shooting a lot of 3-pointers. He's shooting pretty well, too. An amazing rebounder. You question about the rim protection, but you have Herb Jones for that. You have the Pelicans fans. There's a lot to take in, and it's a lot of wondering of what they're gonna do, because if Zion Williamson does come back, you slide him to the 4. You have Herb Jones come off the bench. I guess getting Dyson Daniels wouldn't be bad. You could then go and get rid of Devontae Graham, have Dyson Daniels at the 2, Devontae Graham. You could probably get a late first-round pick, early second-round pick for him. So we'll see how things pan out for the Pelicans in the future. Next up is the Sanitarium Spurs with Ousmane Dieng. He's a 6'9" small forward. Okay, the Spurs are rebuilding with young and can swing for the upside here. Dieng had an up and down season in the NBL, but his skills are tantalizing. At 6'9", I like that a lot because I gotta cut back on the word again. A lot of these teams are young and trying to rebuild. The Spurs have Duarte Murray, who had the second most triple doubles behind Nikola Jokic, or I think he might have had the most triple doubles. I think he had the most triple doubles. Colin Johnson, who still is working on his game. Joshua Primo, who was last year's first round pick for the Spurs. Joko Podol is a good, solid center. So you just take the best player available and the upside in Dieng. I wouldn't mind it. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them go with the Adrian Griffin. But as I said, he has some skills are tantalizing, so it's not a bad move. I like it for the Spurs. Adrian Griffin for the Wizards. Jimmy Butler. The Wizards are stuck in a no man's land and need to nail this draft pick. Griffin Jr. is a light-out shooter with the upside, but there are some health concerns and questions about him regaining his explosiveness. They already have Rui Hachimura, that Denny kid. I never know how to say his name correct. Bradley Beal, who is getting up there in age. Thomas Bryant, Porzingis. I would actually probably go with Benedict Cumberbatch. They say 6'6" here, but in some other ones, they're saying he's 6'7". Hold on one second. Let me check some real quick. Certainly, they said he was a 6'7". No, 6'6" here. That is 6'7", which is a pretty big difference. Sports Reference. 6'7". Yep, right here. It shows 6'7" on Sports Reference. Whoa. There we go. What the hell? Yeah, right here, 6'7". But yeah, on here is 6'8", 6'6". But yeah, this one has Quentin Richardson. Another one that had the other one had Jason Richardson, but still both really good comparisons. But was I already on? Wow, my memory is getting a little bit bad there for a second. Benedict, Adrian Griffin, I like that opportunity. The question mark is Bradley Beal. I know Wizard fans are not that happy with Bradley Beal. They want to move on from him. And so getting a point guard. There's not a lot of point guards. Actually, there's a lot of shooting guards. And none of them have talked about. Actually, all of them in shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. None of them are point guards and playmaking point guards. So I guess take Adrian Griffin. I would want to get a point guard. Yes, Bradley Beal has great playmaking, but do they keep him is the question mark. But it's not a bad move. Next up is Benedict Mathurin. I like this kid a lot. The Knicks have a need at point guard, but that's the weakest position in this draft. Mathurin would bring more shot making and scoring punch. Emmanuel Quickly, they've been playing him at point guard a little bit. Alec Brooks, I guess, had a really good season playing at point guard. Derrick Rose was hurt all season, or vast majority of the season. They didn't let Kemba Walker play at all. And when he did come back, he played one amazing game. He had a triple-double. The next game, he was awful. So it is a question mark at point guard, but as you can tell, the top 15, there is 0 point guards. It's not a bad move. They already have RJ Barrett at the 3 in recent. I would try to maybe move on from Julius Randle. The question mark also is at center to an extent because of Mitchell Robinson. And so, yeah, the Knicks got to do some moves this offseason. Not a bad move. Having him at the shooting guard, Alec Brooks at the point guard for now, I guess. Johnny Davis, from the Thunder from the Clippers at 12. Comparisons of Emmanuel Ginobili. That's not bad at all. The Thunder have been drafting for upside in recent years, but could go with a safer, pro-ready pick and Davis, who would help establish a winning culture. He might not be a superstar at the next level, but has a high floor. Just like Manu Ginobili or John Davis, that's a good comparison. That yes, not every single player needs to be starting every single game, every single minute, and to have a comparison of Manu Ginobili, who coming off the bench averaged 15 plus points. There was moments where he went out for 30. Plays elite defense. He blocked. I remember watching him blocking James Harden in one of those games and seal the game for them to win it. That's not a bad comparison. They get another young player. I like that a lot for the Thunder. Next up is Malachi Branham. Who in the world is this? Talbert Cheney? Okay. The Hornets went with a shooting guard last year, but still have a need at the position after a slow start for Bouknight. Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think of. They've been playing Miles Bridges at the 4. I'd actually go with this. Because you already have LaMelo Ball. You can slide Kelly Oubre to the shooting guard if they wanted to. The question is that it's still at center. The Kai Jones didn't get a single minute played. Mason Plumlee played a lot. Right here. This is actually perfect. A defensive-minded center with a great NBA frame, a high-level rebounder, and enforcer in the middle, measured well at the combine. DeAndre Jordan. Let's go ahead and flip that. Malachi Branham. Hell, actually, I would even say I would flip Mark Williams to the Hornets. Have Malachi Branham go. If you have the opportunity, go have him go slide to the Hornets at 15 would be huge. And then maybe have the Cavs get the Jeremy Sochin. But they have a lot of bigs. And it's surprising for the Cavs to go and get another center in Mark Williams when they already have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Lauri Markkanen, Kevin Love, and some big dudes, 6'10" or higher. I think Lauri Markkanen, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen are all 7 foot. Kevin Love's 6'10". I don't like that move at all for the Cavs. This would actually not be this would be the better of the moves. Just flip to where Mark Williams would go 13. I'd have Jeremy Sochan go at 14, and then Mark Williams go at 15. Or you can do any of these combinations. The ideal thing is that in some sort of fashion, the Cavs would get Jeremy Sochan. They can play at small forward at 6'9", because again, 6'6" is the smallest, usually 6'9" at the tallest at small forward. And then the Hornets would get their center in Mark Williams. They still get to keep their Malachi Branham. This switches all around. Everything else so far has been not a bad opportunities for the other teams, but yeah, this was a question mark on here. Next up, the Atlanta Hawks. Ty Washington. Heard some pretty good young player in the point guard. Sharif Cooper. They already had they already have Sharif Cooper and Trae Young. They have DeLone Wright, Bogdan Bogdanovic for your guards. They already have DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella, Gallinari as the backup power forward, small forward. I would probably consider having them go with Tari Eason. 6'8", 217 pounds. OG Anunoby, get that defensive wing / power forward in today's game. I like that a lot more so than than Ty Washington. Even Lou Williams, they already have another guard too there. So Tari Eason would be better in my opinion for the Hawks. Ty was banged up late in the season, but looked like a top 10 pick before that. This would be a great value here. This would be even better value for the Rockets. The question mark of Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard. Yes, they have switched him to point guard, but the opportunity to have a legit point guard at 6'3" and Ty Washington to fit with Jalen Green, have Kevin Porter Jr. come off the bench as sixth man and run the offense would not be a bad move. Or hell, until Ty Washington gets healthy, you have him come off the bench at sixth man until he gets fully healthy and then move on from Kevin Porter Jr. Then I'd switch those two in a heartbeat. So a long, athletic, and versatile playmaker who can guard all over the court. Yep. Switch it to where the Hawks need more defensive-minded players, because they were like one of the worst defensive teams with a Nate McMillan who is a defensive coach. I don't like them getting a Ty Washington. Jaden Hardy, he fell so hard. Wow. I heard really good things about him. G League Ignite. And Fernie Simons. That's a hell of a pickup for the Bulls. Hardy had a rough start, but a solid second half of the G League season. He looks to be squarely in the mid-first round conversation. I heard really good things about Jaden Hardy. G League Ignite. This might be saying, if they do go with this, that they might be saying bye-bye Zach LaVine. There are talks of him possibly going to Zach LaVine going to the Lakers in the offseason. He's tired of being on the Bulls. This would not be a bad move. You have Desonmu, Zach LaVine, not Zach LaVine, but Lonzo Ball. Yeah, you have Jaden Hardy, Vucevic, DeRozan. It's not a bad move. You can free up a lot of salary cap with moving on from Zach LaVine is not a bad move. I know a lot of Bulls fans like Zach LaVine, but you're paying a rookie contract that's not going to be even $5 million a year for minimum 3 years. That fourth year is a player option, or team option, which is usually $7 million, roughly. Actually, I think it's closer to $8 million. No, it's $4 million, because Gogo Batale, who the Pacers got, he's only making $4 million. And he was like the around this pick, 18th pick. I like that move for the sake of the Bulls. Free up keep that calorie sap under. You had DeRozan, who was an MVP, absolutely tore it up. Get some young players. Patrick Williams, also Kobe White. I like that a lot. Zach LaVine as an elite scorer. The question marks is his defense and his playmaking. I would probably go Jaden Hardy. Let Zach LaVine walk. Oh, I heard really good things about this kid right here, and I'm surprised he fell this far. Billy Owens. Never heard of him. Nikola Jovic. I heard really good things about this. I've watched him. He's a sleeper. A heavily sleeper. Jovic is a 6'10 forward who can score inside and out and excels at passing the rock. This kid is going to be a stud. Take this at 36 minutes into the video. This kid is a sleeper, a steal in this draft at 19. And for it to team up with Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, have him at the 4, you can slide Vanderbilt at the 3, then the Timberwolves are going to be terrifying. Hell, you have Malik Beasley and Patrick Beverley too. The Timberwolves are going to be doing some work. They can somehow get him at 19. That is terrifying. Him at 19. Jalen Williams. I've never heard much about this kid. The Spurs again. Any young prospect. Another guard. Not another guard. They went with a small forward. Who did they go with previously? Spurs. Oh, the Ousmane Dang. Okay. That's not a bad move. I like that. And they also have Lonnie Walker, too. The Spurs have got a lot of young talent. I would consider trading away some of these. Trading away this pick. Try to get yourself a veteran player, because you don't know how much longer Popovich is going to want to play, continue to coach. Especially such a young team. It's going to take a while before they get into the heavy title contention / make it past the first round. By golly, they could make it in the playoffs. Just for the simple fact that they did make it in the play-in. As Greg Popovich, he knows how to work with the players. They could make it in the playoffs. Do they make it past the first round is the question mark. But can't go wrong with getting another young player. RJ Hampton and Larry Hughes. Blake Wesley for the Denver Nuggets. Another guard. They're getting back that guard depth with another guard. I'll take that for them. One of the top athletes in the class. Wesley is a truly explosive player, but lacks a three-point shot. Not every single player has to be shooting threes. By golly, being a guard, he should have a three-point shot. As to why they have him at 21. But look at CJ McCollum, TJ Warren, Brandon Ingram, some of the most elite mid-range shooters. You don't have to do that and have that explosiveness at 6'4" for a guard. Help solidify and keep that guard depth is huge for them, because they have Monte Morris, Jamal Murray, who missed all of last year, Bones Highland. Then you get Blake Wesley. I like that a lot. I would want to get a true small forward to back up Michael Porter Jr. because of his injuries, but for Leonard Miller at 24 versus there being two shooting guards and then a power forward before him, yeah, I would just go with the best young player in Jalen Williams. I'm going to go to 25, and then we'll probably cut it because I'm already nearly 40 minutes into the video. I'll go to 30. Why not? We'll go with the first round. I'm just talking a lot, trying to get my thought process on a lot of these possible moves and stuff. Felipe Lopez. Okay. Ochai Agbaji? Who? I think I've heard about pretty much all the players above. I've heard of Jalen Williams, Blake Wesley, but I've never heard of this kid. Ochai is a well-built athlete who is dripping with upside and showing flashes of being a solid NBA-level wing. Okay, 6'5" shooting guard. Again, today's players are 6'5" at small forward. Is interesting. It's not bad. You have Zaire Williams, John Morant, D'Anthony Melton, Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks for like wings / guards. Can't go wrong with getting it done with that. I would try and trade this pick away. Try to get a future first round pick / a late or early. So they don't have. Okay, they do have. I would try to trade and get this pick right here from us, the Pacers, and get that player. That wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind getting them. Get a backup center in Steven Adams. Get a backup center. You have Xavier Tillman as your backup power forward / center. Get an actual legitimate backup center that can eventually take Steven Adams' place because he's probably going to be re-signed with the Grizzlies. He has 1 year left on his contract, and it's his upcoming year, and then he's a free agent, I believe, because he signed an extension with, or he signed a contract with the Pelicans. I think it was only a 2-year deal for $12 million a year, and so to get a backup center would be one of the better moves. The Brooklyn Nets from the 76ers. A power forward from Wake Forest in Jake LaRavia, Matt Harpering, and Linus Kaliza. A versatile forward who is young for his class. Put up big numbers this year at Wake. Seems like he has a first round promise. Okay. It's not bad. Then he can slide Kevin Durant back to the 3. Have him at the 4. Again, it's not bad. Nicholas Claxton had a pretty good season for them. They have moved on from Aldridge starting or Blake Griffin, who is pretty much not in the rotation anymore. I like that for the Brooklyn Nets quite a bit. Get some potential in him. You got Cam Thomas, Kyrie Irving. Still, the talks of him possibly. Sounds like he might be moving on and might possibly going to the Lakers, possibly, because he went into an interview recently saying that he's sorry for how he acted that last year. In the year that he got traded in Cleveland, he apologized to LeBron James. In that interview, he didn't personally apologize to LeBron, but he said he was sorry. So he possibly could be moving on to go back or go play with LeBron once again. They have Ben Simmons, who is point forward, so that's not a bad move. Getting a nice young player in Jake LaRavia. Next up is a Milwaukee Bucks small forward Leonard Miller. Paul George, one of the fastest rising prospects in the country, who has elected to enter the NBA 2022 draft, a 6'10" wing with handles and a 3-point shot. Okay. It's just the simple fact that 6'10" wing that has a 3-point shot. Paul George has some handles, just like this kid. So I guess in that aspect, he is a Paul George kind of build, and that doesn't specify about the defense that Leonard Miller has. But I like that. It's not a bad move for the Bucks. Get a nice young player at small forward, because Giannis has been playing power forward, center the past couple of seasons. Pat Connaughton, having a nice backup player for Pat Connaughton, so that's not bad. I like that. Another pick for the Spurs, back to back, or not back to back, but 3 first-round picks. It's not bad. Corey Maggette. Ooh, okay. Kendall Brown, small forward from Baylor. A versatile player who brings it on both ends of the court. He has elite above the rim ability. Is a world-class defensive player and underrated passer. Okay. For everything I just said, sounds like he should be higher than these other players. If I'm being straight up honest. World-class defensive player and underrated passer. With today's players, there was only like one other player in the top 20 that had elite defense, or talking about defense. I would almost want to get Kendall Brown almost a lot of these other players. Like him and him and him and him. I like that upside of this Kendall Brown. If the Spurs, just like that Nikola Jovic for the Wolves, they can get this kind of a player at 25. That'd be crazy. I'd be happy for any San Antonio Spurs fans. A taller Channing Frye for the Mavs and John Butler. Crazy fluid and agile for a 7'1" player, and has a great 3-point shot. The draft is about upside, and Butler has a lot of it. Why is he projected to be only 26th? I guess because of the simple fact that they're saying a taller Channing Frye. Channing Frye had some really good years in for the Phoenix Suns. Started to kind of fall off a little bit for the Cavs, but I like Channing Frye a lot. Again, I'd take him over to this Leonard Miller or Jake LaRavia, and a lot of these other players. That's the specified in detail of being fluid and agile as a 7-1 player and a great 3-point shot. I would probably go with him. And for the Mavs get him, that'd be huge. A great 3-point shooter with Luka Doncic. And then you have Jalen Brunson, who probably will be re-signed with the Mavs. Mavs are getting scary, guys. Oh, Bones Highland. Okay, for the Heat. A combo guard who had a breakout season for the Wolfpack. A combo guard. Okay, 6'3". Point guard. They already have that Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. Let me look something up real quick. Whoops. There we go. Let me look through them real quick. I'm gonna look up their ages. Max Strus, age 26. Okay. Okay. And then how about Gabe Vincent? Gabe Vincent is 25. Okay. Combo guard. Nice young Well, they already have also Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. I would probably try to go with either of these two right here. A nice power forward because of PJ Tucker and his age. How long is he willing to stay with the Heat if they don't make it to if they don't become title or they don't go to the NBA Finals? How long will PJ Tucker be willing to stay? I don't know. Either go with EJ Liddell or the Musa Diabate. I would either go one of those two versus the point guard because, again, I just mentioned a lot of good guards. I just mentioned also Kyle Lowry. The reason why I didn't mention Kyle Lowry is that I was just trying to think of the age, and they already have Gabe Vincent and Max Strus who have had, or they're nice young guards to eventually replace Kyle Lowry. I would either go with one of these two right here. Antoine Walker. Yep, that's it. That's all. That's all I gotta say. You go with that kind of player, just stretch the floor. That gives Bam Adebayo plenty of opportunity to be the guy that posts up or goes to the rack. He can pass it back out to EJ Liddell, who is a comparison of an Antoine Walker. A versatile, all-around talent, fundamentally sound and efficient. That's perfect. That's perfect for the Heat. I wouldn't go with the Turquavion Smith. I wouldn't. That's not a good move for the Miami Heat. By golly, if the Warriors get this kind of a kid, EJ Liddell, that'd be ridiculous. Like, they already have enough great young talent as it is in Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole, Wiseman, once he does get healthy, Moses Moody, and you can get an EJ Liddell who does the things it sounds like a Draymond Green for the future. GG's, they have a great young roster that they once Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, or especially Klay Thompson and Steph Curry retire. You got a great young core already. For them to get an EJ Liddell, GG's, they're going to be right into that title contender for the next decade. That's crazy. Memphis Grizzlies, that Musa Diabate, Jonathan Isaac Light. Okay, so he's the light version, or I'm trying to think of another term. He's I like that. I like the light version of Jonathan Isaac. Diabate is an incredibly versatile defender who makes energy plays all over the court. He has an elite frame and emerging game. So based off of what we just read when it comes to pretty much these players that I just mentioned right here, 24 through 29, it sounds like they might be able to jump up in the draft because if they really fall to this kind of this late of the round, 24 through 29, that'd be crazy. And the last, and certainly not least, Latrell Sprewell for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Latrell Sprewell comparison with Bryce McGowan's, a shooting guard. A long, wiry athlete with a smooth game and intriguing upside. He has an awesome bounce and above the rim ability. Nebraska hasn't had a prospect like this in a long time. The younger they're able to get, the better off for the Thunder. Try to find out the right players for the future to play along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dortz, are the key things. Like, we don't know if Isaiah Roby will be the part of their future. Baisley, Pokusevski. So for them to get as young as they are able to get, the better off where they are. So Just go to the Chet Holmgren would be awesome. But that is the first round on NBADraftRoom.com. The first round of the upcoming season, or this upcoming draft, in which I plan on being live for that, and being live on my other channel with Mike and Zach of the Knights of the Central Table. Will be live discussing all things NBA draft related. Being live probably at least half an hour, if not an hour, prior to the draft starting. And then as soon as the draft starts up, we'll definitely be live prior to then. And we'll be talking as the live draft goes on. And then the next day, after we sit back, analyze, and have a deeper thought on the draft, we'll go and the next day have it to where we grade the teams, who all they got, and talk about their future, and then eventually get into the NBA offseason with free agency, possible trades, so on and so forth. So big things are coming up here very, very soon via KayFray or the Knights of the Central Table podcast. With all this being said, guys, I'm in this video right here, and I'll talk to you guys later.